Y'all, June has arrived, and this homosexual is ready to celebrate. Pride is wrapped in color, celebration, resistance, and reflection. Pride Month is more than just rainbow flags, parties, and parades. It's a reminder of the people who fought and protested, who loved loudly and created spaces for generations of LGBTQIA plus people. And it gave us the space to live openly and authentically. It is a month rooted in history, resilience, and community. And for many people, pride is joy. It is seeing yourself reflected in the world around you. It is chosen family, music, laughter, dancing in the streets, and moments of freedom that once felt impossible. It is the feeling of being seen, affirmed, celebrated exactly as who you are. But Pride Month is also deeply personal. It holds the stories of queer and trans people who continue to navigate discrimination, violence, and rejection, and the emotional weight of simply existing in a world that still debates their humanity. It reminds us that Pride began as a protest, led by activists, many of them Black and brown trans women, drag queens, and queer activists who fought back against injustice and demanded dignity, safety, and liberation. June became Pride Month because of the 1969 Stonewall riots in New York City, where members of the LGBTQIA plus community resisted ongoing police harassment and violence at the Stonewall Inn. What started as frustration and resistance became a turning point in the modern LGBTQ plus rights movement. 1 year later, the first Pride marches were held to honor the uprising and continue to fight for equality and visibility. And while June is recognized globally as the kickoff to Pride season, Pride itself does not begin in just 1 month. Communities across the country celebrate Pride throughout the year for different reasons, whether local history, accessibility, and or just a reason to celebrate. Pride is celebrated in many different areas. From summer celebrations to Black Pride events, trans Pride gatherings, Latinx Pride, and local community-based Pride festivals, each one reflects the diversity and intersectionality within the LGBTQIA plus community itself. This June, Pride feels especially important. Across the country, around the world, LGBTQIA plus communities continue to face attacks on visibility, healthcare, education, and basic human rights. And yet, despite all that shit, queer people continue to create art and build families, care for one another, and show up with courage and love. Pride Month is also a call to community care, to check on one another, to make space for difficult conversations, to support queer and trans voices, not only in celebration, but in protection. To recognize that healing is happening. It needs to happen. It needs to happen in community, and that sometimes the most powerful form of self-care is knowing you don't have to survive alone. At its core, Pride is about people. It is about authenticity. It is about freedom. It is about the right to exist fully, loudly, softly, unapologetically, and safely. And maybe this month is also the opportunity to ask ourselves, how do we continue showing up for each other after the Pride parades are over? How do we protect the most vulnerable within our community? How do we create spaces where everybody feels like they belong? Because Pride is not just a moment. It's a movement. It's a memory. It's healing. It's a community. And it is love that refuses to disappear. And that is the real chisme. Happy Pride Month.
What's good, fam? And welcome to JustDrawz. This is a show hosted by two Black gay men who are smart, sometimes funny, and not afraid to say the quiet parts out loud.
We talk life, love, sex, culture, mental health, politics, pop culture,
and everything in between. So whether you're here to laugh, learn, heal, or just feel seen,
you're in the right place. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to JustDrawz.
And welcome back to the HellaChisme podcast.
Or what we are calling for today's special episode, HellaDrawz. This is the space where real,
honest, unfiltered, and just a little messy
conversations live.
And performative nonsense does not. We keep it raw, vulnerable, and stripped down. You know, RVSD.
And on this special crossover episode, we're going to be giving you some family reunion energy.
That's correct. And the chemistry is already there. The laughs should be guaranteed. We'll see. And someone just may overshare before this episode is over.
As they should. So whether you came for the chisme or to be RVSD, welcome home.
That's right. I'm Jeff, and you can find me at Jeff Levels Up on Instagram and Twitter.
And I'm Darius, aka DMC, and you can find me on Instagram at closed-minded and DM Curitan on Twitter /X.
And I'm Dana, and you can find me at HellaChisme Pod, or if you want to follow me personally, you can find me at All Art Mediums on Instagram.
Awesome.
Perfect.
All right. So tonight we are coming from... Turn my video off in the process.
Right. I see. Yeah, we're coming from no video. Got it.
We are coming from Dorothy Height Hall because this is a crossover episode.
That's right.
Dorothy Height
It
Hall.
is a different world where you coming from.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Love
you
it.
The Huxtables, the Cosbys, all of that.
Yeah.
All of
Is somebody going to sing "And All Good Things Will Be Added Unto You"? Anybody going to sing that?
I hope not.
I mean, I don't even know the words. So it's one of those things to where if I heard it, I probably would know it. But I am definitely not a title first person, or I'm like, and I mean the same way with names. I need to see your face and then I'll put your name to your face. I've never been a title first or name first type of person, but that's just, sometimes that's how my brain computes. Even though I work in HR, it's still like, I need a little bit more information before I can give you the information.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I'm super bad at names myself. So
I'm definitely better with faces, but I'll remember a name once I see the face a lot of times, but yeah. So let's talk a little bit about why this came about.
Yeah, I mean, so I remember specifically that I reached out because Jeff had posted something on Instagram about wanting to do a crossover episode. Yeah. And which was like perfect timing for me because I already was looking for a show to connect with or connect with more shows out there, especially, since a lot of what I do want to do and make sure to do more of is connecting more podcast shows. In this space, I feel like sometimes a lot of different creators they find their people, they stick with their people, and they stick in that area. And sometimes they don't, and they're not interested in connecting. And some people say it's a lot of gatekeeping going on, but I feel like it depends on what's happening. But for sure, I was like, well, I'm going to reach out. I'm in this phase where I'm like, I'm reaching out to anybody who's interested in talking, whether they end up on the show or not, but definitely trying to connect with as many people as possible and, see what happens. And here we are now.
Yeah, we're glad you reached out.
Yeah. I posted a note on Instagram and basically just said it would be dope if another podcast to merge with another podcast, or at least just collaborate, really. Because I feel like we all can eat in this space, and a lot of us we bring our own individual perspectives, and we have our own styles and things. And there's lots of different podcasts. There's some that are very popular. There are some that are just under the bubble. Like I kind of feel like we are and have been for a minute. And I do feel kind of like, we've had guests on our show that have been on bigger podcasts than us. And I'm like, well, if these people are hopping around on different desks and different squares on the screen, I mean, we could hop around with other people as well. Like I said, we can all eat in this space. And I appreciate you connecting with us and reaching out and, working on getting this together and collaborating. So really appreciate you hopping in and us both joining and getting a liner for this. So
and hopping into our DMs.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I
Because
appreciate y'all
you
too.
wanted to give us a test drive. That's what's up. We're about it.
We
We're
can get a
about
little
it.
test ride. They say that
Right.
you have
Let's
to
get
give
it.
test rides before you buy the car.
Yeah, that's fine. We're definitely down for a test drive. So yeah.
I love it. I love it.
So we're gonna talk about what we're gonna talk about tonight. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So
Let's do it.
let's talk about it then. So one thing that gay men and black men are gonna do and say every time something comes up is we're not a monolith. We're not a monolith. You know, we say it with our chest and we say it like it's a fact, like it's something that we've already unpacked and something that we've already kind of moved past. But let me ask all of the viewers out there and the listeners out there something. If we're not a monolith, why does it feel like we're always chasing the same body? We're chasing the same type. We're chasing the same aesthetic. We're saying the same things. We're reacting the exact same way. We're living the exact same lifestyle. What is that about? You know, why does it feel like there's a right way to be black or a right way to be gay? And if you don't fit that, you kind of get pushed to the side. So I'm not even saying that we're doing this on purpose, but I am saying that there seems to be a pattern, and that pattern bothers the dog shit out of me. And so one of the reasons why I was like, I want to do a topic about this and really talk about what the issue is there and what it's really about. Because how are we really out here preaching individuality, but we're moving like there's only one blueprint? So today we're really going to get into it. And we're not, again, not trying to tear anybody down, but we're really trying to ask, are we as diverse as we claim to be? Or are we just comfortable saying that while doing the opposite? So let's get into it.
All right.
Now, let me ask you two first. When you hear the phrase or the idiom now, all right, we're not a monolith. What does that actually mean to you?
You want to go first, Jen?
Yeah. So I see this a lot on different discussions in different groups on Facebook and on, of course, Twitter, where a lot of discourse happens. And basically, it's always in relation to how we're not this big group of gay men. All gay men don't do this and all gay men don't do that. And it's usually fighting against something that has been perceived as something that all black gay men do. Well, because we're speaking, of course, in terms of black gay men or black men of color, if that's what you want to call that.
POCs
anyway,
is what.
The POCs.
The POCs, yes.
So, yeah, to me, I just feel like it's just trying to make a statement or making a statement where we are just not all falling in this line. It's not just, hey, we're marching all to the club on Friday. Okay, now we're going to go to this club on Saturday. We're all not going to brunch on Sunday. Like, we all don't fall into into what we see the mainstream or the scene gays. The gays are always out and about. We see them on social media all the time. They always taking photos in the spot with their boyfriends, with their crew, and all that stuff. A lot of us do not live that way. And I think it kind of is when people feel like, oh, I'm not that type of guy, or I'm not that type of guy. I'm not always out. That's what it means.
Okay. All right, Dana.
One of the first questions I would ask is, when you say we, do you mean all-encompassing we, or do you mean just we as in, like Jeff was saying, people of color or brown gay men of color?
See, and that I'm not really sure about, because that's one of the things that I want to talk about is the fact that we're using this collective we, like we are not this and we are not that. But from my vantage point and just from what I see, a lot of the we is not we. Like, we are not a monolith really should be changed to me am not a monolith, like really, because it's not, because everybody else is doing the same shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know who the we is in that. So you have any idea of who it could be?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to point out any particular groups,
Okay.
But
Well, why
I will
not? Hey,
say,
listen. We are raw, vulnerable, and stripped down. Point them out. Say it with your chest.
I will say that, speaking in the I am definitely, did I used to be the type of gay guy? I was like we was going somewhere. I wanted to do something every single weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to be. But I also think that I think at some certain points, you grow out of shit. Some people don't grow out of it. Some people they stay in it and they want to live that life like all their lives. The gays who love to go to the parties, they want to do cocaine, they want to pop pills, they want to get
Okay.
drunk. They is rolling down the concrete street and they still want to go get another drink, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but I'm not like that. And I've not been. I have now. Will I have a good cocktail on a good day? Yes, I will. Yes, I
Okay. Or
will.
2 or 3.
Or 2 or 3, and maybe
Okay.
even 6 on a good Tuesday.
Okay. Hey, listen.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Well,
But
there could be something wrong if it becomes excessive, but
right.
I don't think that you're excessive. I think you're a functional drunk. So that works.
Absolutely. Now I am that type of gay.
Okay. There we go. That's it.
Look, if it takes you 2 or 3 drinks to get drunk, then yeah, you already a lightweight as it is. So
I mean,
it should really take you more than 3 to be followed out.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, the idea of a monolith is just like the definition. If you look up the definition, the definition really talks about monoliths being something relegated to something you would probably call homogenous. Like everything is the same. Everything it functions. There's like a certain level or a certain set of characteristics that are always associated with that group of people. And so, like I said earlier, I think that when people use the term "we're not a monolith," they're really speaking about themselves and maybe the 2 or 3 other people that might be around in their circle that might be a little bit different from whatever that mainstream thing is. But honestly, I think that we are monoliths. We're going to get more into it, but I really think that we are a monolith, like as a whole, so it doesn't really mean too much to me. I think, honestly, it really just means it's just another thing to say, like one of our previous co-hosts talked about not hearing the term generational wealth. Like it's just some shit to say. Like everybody's using this buzzword. Everybody's using that buzzword. So I think that's kind of what it is.
Well, and I also would just add one last thing of it's okay to be like, I'm not just this one-sided way. I have layers, which is fine.
I don't know about that for some people, but
no, I agree with you. I watch, but I agree. I do, but I mean, but it's also, I think sometimes people don't know how to communicate and say that, there's more to me than the fact that I'm going out every other weekend or the fact that I'm hooking up with a couple of different people on one night or every other weekend. And that's fine. But, it's a way to explain that if people choose to explain. But we know some folks don't like explaining themselves either. So,
yeah. But like you said, I feel like there's nothing wrong with doing those things if you want to hook up with random people every weekend or every night, or if you want to go out and spend time at the club on Sunday fun day, this and the other every weekend. That's fine too. I think we all have those experiences, at least for a season or just for a couple of weeks or whatever. And then, we may fall back and do other things. But I think those are pretty common experiences across the Black gay diaspora, if you will. That
use the term.
I was just going to say, okay, Black gay diaspora.
That people they go out, they go to circuit parties, or they may go to a circuit party and have that experience. But there's other people that they do that all the time, and I think when we see, oh, well, so and so, they always out this and another, and then you have other people like me that go out maybe once or twice a month. And then you don't see me anymore. And then, that's the end of it for me because, I've got that experience and I can like, all right, I'm good. It's, 1:00. I want to go home and get in my bed. But I also may want to be like, all right, hey, I do want to go out to brunch and, look at the gays and look at the fishbowl of people because it's just something that I think that we do. And I think we'll get into that a little bit later because I think that's part of one of our other talking points.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna ask a follow-up question, but
Sure.
I'm gonna let
Go
you
ahead.
go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, I mean, I guess one of my follow-ups would be if when we're thinking about how to engage with the communities and the different folks that we meet out, and not and being different gays, like when you think about all the different areas and categories that gay people are put each other in, or the bears, the daddies, and all of that, and when we're thinking about the topic of being monolith, do you think that plays a part into that too, like how we categorize ourselves into these communities and we don't feel like we can cross over into the different spaces?
I think that that's part of it. I think that when people find something to latch on to, whether that's a small group of friends or a larger community or a person, something like that, it becomes their identity. Like that becomes who they are. They take on all of the characteristics of that, and then they begin to gatekeep. And I think that's where there's a lot of problem there. Like when I date, one thing that I tell people all the time is I'm not interested, or I don't want to be your existence. I want to be your extension. I want to be an extension of who you already are, but I don't want you to stop doing and being who you are because you're with me, kind of thing. And I think, again, that's kind of what happens when people find their quote tribe, or they find their group there. They latch onto that and they take on all of those characteristics. And then before they know it, they don't realize that everything else has kind of passed them by because they have been so siloed in that one specific population or subset of people, I should say.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
But I also kind of noticed, like you said, a lot of times when people fall into these subcultures, they just kind of end up sticking with that group. Like, there's, like you mentioned, there's the bear subculture. There's the OnlyFans subculture. There's the guys that work out and lift weights all the time subculture. There's the socialites on Instagram subculture. Like there's all of these different groups, and they all kind of like gel together. And, they kind of sit in their lane, in their circle. And like you said, it could be hard to get in if you wanting to be into that lane or that field, because you want to be a socialite or a himbo, and you want to be like, okay, I'm going to work out and get muscular and take photos of everything and get this social media following so I can use that for another endeavor, or I just want to make money and sit down and just, take photos and get on OnlyFans and do all that, and there's nothing wrong with doing those things, but it does get to, you end up, those people that get into those circles tend to kind of be locked in because that's all they kind of hang around. And then everybody else is just kind of like fans or watchers from the outside. At least that's how I feel it.
Yeah, I think that's dangerous, though.
Dangerous in what way?
Because, again, you're so focused in on that singular sort of thing, which is what mono means. Mono means one or singular. So when you're so focused in that group, or you're so focused in on that specific subculture that you're talking about, then where is there room for individuality, or where is there room for when you want to step outside of that? And then the community or the subculture that you're a part of doesn't embrace that.
Well, I think there's room for those things because, like we just said before, people are layered. And I don't think that every OnlyFans person, even though out of the people that do OnlyFans that I know and have met, that's not the only thing that they are. They're different things.
Right.
And at the same time, even with the himbos, like that's not all that they are. It's just like, if I was a person that was a social media influencer and had all of these different followers and was taking pictures all the time, for every one picture that you see, I would have probably taken 50. And I'm going to choose to show these that give me the best light. And the ones that I don't like, I'm going to delete them off the phone. I don't even want them in the cloud or the Google Cloud. I don't want this to ever exist because this is not a good photo of me. And if something happened to my cloud, I don't want it to get leaked that I took this bad picture where I'm looking like, I don't know, Dot from Mad TV. I just don't want to have that. I wouldn't want to have that out. You know what I mean? So I know we have to remember that what we see on social media is very curated and done purposely with some type of intention. But I don't think that those subcultures, and the only time I'll say that I feel like it gets dangerous is when that becomes your personality. So if your personality is an OnlyFans person, my personality is I work out, my personality is that I'm into this kink or whatever, if that's what makes you who you are, that's when I think it gets more dangerous than anything else.
And that's where I think it can, I think that when people start to see that that's the only thing that you are, or the only thing that they see that you've curated for them, I think that's where it becomes a little bit dangerous, because now when you do something else, people are side-eyeing you like, oh, wait a minute, where's this? Where's that? Where's this? So they put you in that box, but it's a box that you've curated for yourself. So that's what I mean by dangerous. Like you have built this kind of persona. You've built this thing, and now it feels like you have to maintain that thing in order to maintain the level of accolade or the level of engagement that you had prior. Now, I don't disagree with what you're saying about, you step outside of that and people are more than that. Absolutely. But when that's the only thing you put out there, that's the only thing I have to consume. You only put meat on my plate. I don't know that there's vegetables. I don't know that there's macaroni and cheese. I don't know that there's mashed potatoes. I don't know any of that stuff. All I see is the meat, and you're like, oh, okay, well, that's all we got. Huh? Yeah, right. And, yeah. And some people, are all about meat. That's fine, but still, give me some sort of variety.
I get that, and I also have gotten to the point where I don't think those people care. Like, there's people that I don't follow these people, but I've seen very popular people come across my timeline on Instagram where the guy takes the exact same pose over and over and over again. And the whole grid is this, and people are just going up for it. He's getting all these likes. And I'm like, this looks very boring.
You hold in your mouth the exact same way in every shot. And it's like, pose, what?
The time of day may be a little bit different. The outfit may be different, but everything else
is a different color. It's not a different
color. But you still got the light skin face. You still got the light skin face and the duck lips. Yeah.
Everything is the same. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess. But I also have a person that I do follow that I've been following for a long time, where when he posts something that's he's showing off his skin, he's showing off his chest, he's showing off all these different things, he will get a ton of likes. If he shows something like, oh, I'm just going on vacation, and he's clothed, he doesn't get as many likes. So if you're a person that is trying to get those likes coming in and get that engagement, then okay, well, I'm seeing that I am, when I do this boring thing, quote unquote, or this regular thing, I'm not getting that attention. But as soon as I lift up my shirt a little bit, or, cover my dick, but I'm completely naked, I'm going to get all these likes. And I'm going to keep on doing that because I want to get those notifications. I want to get like, hey, I got 1,000 likes today for this picture. So.
Okay. I can understand that. I can get with that.
Okay, so let's move on to a little bit different topic. Okay, so because we're talking about social media and engagement, what do you guys find yourself gravitating towards when it comes to social media? Like, what are you following? The himbos? Are you following the social media influencers? Are you following just other content that's not necessarily about individuals?
If you say himbo one more time,
that's what they are. That's what they call themselves.
So there's
this here podcast.
Have you guys seen? What is that damn show called? It's on Amazon Prime. It's Daddy something, and essentially they have daddies and himbos that they're trying to date. It's a dating show, a gay dating show.
I know what you're talking about.
Never heard of that.
And it's
because I am not a monolith.
So in that way, I'm like, I'm gonna watch all of the gay shit that I can as much as possible.
For the
And
love of
for
DILFs.
for the love of dills.
Yes.
And so there's daddies and there's himbos, and they at the end of it, they're trying to get a himbo or a daddy, whatever, vice versa, and then they win money if they're a secure relationship.
So
Anyway,
define what a himbo is.
so I have to be honest, that show was the first time I ever heard of a himbo. But
Mhm.
if I guess from what they're saying is a younger guy who likes to date older men, because if it's the opposite, if it's a younger guy who's super buff, who works out consistently and likes to date older men, not all of the guys on there were like super gym guys or super buff or things like that. I'm thinking that it may just have to do with if you're a younger guy liking to date older guys. And then some of these guys some of them were in their 50s and 60s. I think the oldest was like 69 on the show
Okay.
this past season. So that's what I think a himbo is, but
yeah, when I'm using this term, I know that when we think of the term bimbo for females, we think that someone's this lady that's cute, attractive, big titties, big ass, whatever, but she's dumb. I don't necessarily think that himbos are dumb. I just think that they know that they are conventionally attractive and have something going for them, like their body, their face, their ass, their dick, and they use that to their advantage for people that want to have that experience, be seen with them, date them, this, that, and the other. And it's not necessarily, and it may come off as if I'm being negative about it, but not really. I just feel like that it's just when we know it when we see it type of thing, kind of like porn. I know it's when I see it.
I would hope so.
It's just one of those things that, you know, the guys just has a conventionally attractive body, conventionally attractive face, and they're working it to their advantage. And there's nothing wrong with that. Use what you got to get what you want.
They dipping it and doing it.
Dipping it and doing it. But my thing with that is, you know, own it. Don't just be like coy about it. You know, if you know that that's what you're doing, just own up to it. It's fine. It's cool. I can tell you one sign that I feel like to tell someone if someone's a himbo or not, if they have a Amazon wish list in their profile.
Okay.
I'm thinking about, do I have that?
Yeah, people have that in their profile, and they want somebody to send them some of those random things that are on their profile, on their
straps,
jock straps, protein powders, PlayStation games, like all of that stuff.
Wow.
Okay, I know someone is doing this and paying this for you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it. Not me though, but you know, hey,
not me, girl. Not me, girl.
Not me. But you know, if you can get it, go ahead and get it. You know, somebody wants to pay for it, you know, let them do it.
Do it. Let them do it.
I mean, that's their
life.
Oh, hey, what's going on? I didn't know you was here. Hold on, listen before you stop watching. I need you to go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Yes, click that subscribe button up there on this YouTube channel and turn on your notifications so you know when the new stuff is coming out. And if you subscribe, you can catch up on all the episodes you done missed, child, because it's a lot here. And you need to stay here, because we need you. All right, we'll get back to this episode. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
So, in getting back to the question that you asked about what do we find ourselves gravitating toward, like more recently, I don't necessarily find myself gravitating toward gay content per se. I mean, I have a set of things that yes, I gravitate toward at those special times of the night, or special times when you wake up in the morning, or special times after you've eaten lunch, or special times right before you take a nap, like, you know, that sort of stuff. I get that. Those are I have a lot of special times during the day because I'm a special type of guy. I'm not a monolith. So, but any other time though, I usually find myself engaging with stuff that is funny. Stuff that is going to take me away from all of the heaviness that we have to deal with in society, being Black, being gay, gas being $9 a gallon, you know, like shit like that. So I find myself gravitating toward things that are going to make me laugh, things that take me back to nostalgic periods in my life. Like I just ran across, I'm a big Mad TV fan, and I ran across a website or Instagram account that pulls all of these old Mad TV clips. And so I get those throughout the day. And it just reminds me of, oh man, I remember exactly where I was when I saw this episode. I remember this. I'm, spitting these lines out verbatim of what's happening. So I find myself gravitating toward stuff like that more recently, but I can't say in terms of like gay media, like there's nothing really super specific that I gravitate toward. I mean, I've mentioned on the podcast, my gay guilty pleasure is RuPaul's Drag Race. So I will watch stuff related to that, but it's not like that's the only thing that I'm paying attention to. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I picked up my phone because I wanted to see what came up on my Explore page, because that's the first thing I think of. Because my Explore page it's just all kind of shit will pop up on my Explore page. And
I was like, it was meat.
It's men with big chest and then, or it's like one of my favorite content creators. Like currently right now I watch Vic. She's hilarious and she likes make cocktails and stuff like that. But I mean, I am the same. I try to watch something that's gonna give me some sort of escapism. And that's funny, or or a new recipe that I can try. I love to cook, so those things.
I need you to make these strawberry brownies that I saw online the other day. So since you love to cook, I'm trying to find somebody to make those. I can make them myself, but I just don't feel like I want to put all the effort in. So I'm like, I want somebody to have these already made so I can go just pick one up and try it. But
absolutely. I mean, and it's funny. I just found out I'm no longer allergic to chocolate, so I have to try and test this out.
Look at God.
So it's funny stuff. Now, again, I do have like the guys that I do like to follow and I do like to see on my timeline. But when I'm at work, I can't sit and scroll through Instagram or certain parts of my Instagram because these men are half naked on my timeline. And if I'm sitting in a meeting and someone walks behind me, I'm like, oh, awkward. There's a half.
You better get one of those privacy screens, yeah.
I mean,
because that's what I have.
Those work. I mean, I do. My cousins have them, and I'm like, I do need to get one.
They do.
But yeah, definitely something funny. Definitely love cooking content on social media right now. But I have my things too that I like to follow.
Jeff, what do you?
When I know I'm the type of person that Twitter will put you on Front Street real quick because you'll be watching something that is just as plain as day, and the next thing you know, somebody is clapping cheeks and all of that, and it's kind of like,
I was like, what was that sound effect? Yeah,
what's going on? Like, I was just watching a recipe, I was just watching a video game. Where is this coming from? So what I normally gravitate, I actually have a special or a profile on Twitter that's just for the smut. But when I'm on Instagram, I normally kind of like you, I do follow a lot of the gay blogs and things like that, just to keep up with like the news or like a gay magazine or something like that. Where that's most of the gay content that I get is more like neutral or just kind of funny. I do follow a couple of himbos and whatnot, but not that many. Like the people that I follow now are like ones that I've probably met in person before or actually have spoken to. I don't collect anymore because I just think that they're boring. In general, that like it doesn't serve me any purpose. So I tend to not follow those accounts. But I mean, I do follow a lot of memes and clips of animals doing dumb stuff. I saw a robot do something crazy and dance and fall, and
I saw that earlier today.
Well, I mean, I've been seeing this for a while. Like I know there's one where he was doing Michael Jackson's most recent one.
That's the one I saw.
I've seen way before that, months ago. Where there's been robots dancing or doing something or trying to be monks and all this stuff. So a lot of that content comes through my Instagram feed a lot. But when it comes to gay things, because I follow a lot of the news, the things that keep up with important headlines and things that are related to gay people, That's what comes in my feed the most. And like I said, I do have a smut Twitter that I use my alt for those special
that
times.
he will not share with
No,
anybody.
I'm not sharing. It doesn't need to be shared. The people that have it, and the people that don't. And I'm not trying to collect more followers on that, so that's fine. But
wait, are you posting things or reposting things on this Twitter?
Huh?
Right. You see that? You hear that? Yeah. If you can, you can hear. Yep.
So anyway,
oh wait, we're not going to answer the question.
Both. See that's what he does. That's how he does. He'll put something out there, and then when you try to follow up on that, he'll try to shift. Yeah, that's what he does.
No, I'm not shifting. Okay. I'm still on my subject. So anyway,
see,
like I
that's
said,
right there. Deflect, shift, same thing.
So on that profile, Twitter, that algorithm has been really refined. Like Twitter knows exactly what I want and pumps what I like down my feed.
Pump it down your feed. That's it. Go for it.
Does.
So I'll say Elon Musk and whoever he's paid to craft that algorithm is very good, because like some of the things that I like on there are kind of niche, and it feeds it right on to me. And I it's doing what needs to be done at the time that needs to be happening. So I'll say, because I do have that follow, or what I do follow that type of content on that algorithm and that service, it's very good at giving me what I want. So similar thing would happen on Instagram if I were to follow those bodybuilder pages or the content creators or the himbos. I know that it would feed me that a lot. And because now Instagram, when your friends like stuff now, it shows up on your feed, because like, oh, you're friends with this person, you like this, they may like this too. Like I'll see things on my feed because someone that I know likes it, and I'm like, I don't really care about this, but you have fun, blah blah blah. Friend number 2297, not my thing, or I really don't care about this, but enjoy. So I'll see this stuff and I'll watch it and be like, oh, that's interesting enough for me to sit and watch, but I don't want to follow this person, and I keep on scrolling. So I don't like my Instagram to be filled with things that I'm not interested in. So I just kind of like, I'm not interested in this. And every 30 days, you can like tell Instagram to not feed you more content that, is trying to get you to discover. I turn it off, because I'd rather see the people that I know post stuff than just random stuff from people that I don't know and know that I have no interest in. So,
let me ask this question though. Do you think that based on, we have varied things that we engage with, us three here, but do you think that as a community, do you think we hold space for diverse voices or other perspectives as a community, not necessarily just among us, but
I feel like it depends on what it is. I feel like if I was a content creator, not a content creator like that, but I decided to step
Freudian slip. You want to do that?
If I decided to step into a different space, right? So let's say, for instance, I decided to create a cooking show.
Okay.
And, everybody has their favorites. We know the Food Network is not necessarily a thing of what it used to be. And now everything is, streaming, etc. And then I wanted to throw some layers on top of it. And I wanted it to be a special cooking show for the LGBTQ community. But then there's another guy who's already doing it, and people love him. And here I'm coming into this space, and, I have a niche market. I got some things that are great. I got some stuff that's, cool about what I'm doing. But I'm not getting the views. I'm not getting the following. The people, they're talking shit about my content. And it's just not going great. And so when I think about that question, I just think, I'm like, I feel like there could be more openness, but sometimes I don't think there is. And I think people pick and choose who they want to be connected to, and who and what they, and if they want to engage with specific content or specific people. And then it comes a train, like, well, we're not going to fuck with this person, so don't nobody else fuck with this person. and it just starts a line of hate or just non-engagement. Short answer, it does depend, but I do feel like it's not always interest in diversity in certain areas, depending on
And I totally agree with you, because I feel like even when we started this podcast, when we started JustDrawz, and it was the four of us, like, I'm not saying that we were great out of the gate. It took us a while for us to kind of find our format and our footing and this, that, and the other. I'm not saying that we're the best podcast ever either, but I will say that I feel like a lot of times people like to hop on the train when it's already popular instead of getting on the train like as it's leaving the station, because there's people that follow me and Darius individually and they do not follow our podcast. Like there's some people that I would have expected to be like hopping on board and following the podcast, social media, and nope, crickets. And I know that they follow the bigger names that we also follow, the other podcasts, because I'll see blah, 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 like this, blah, 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 like that. I'm like, oh, that's cute that you like this person that already has, 20,000 followers and this, that, and the other, and, getting awards and things like that. But what about the people that you've actually had conversations with in real life? We would like a like as well. But, I'm also
who have your alt Twitter. Yeah. Like, that would be nice.
Yeah, if they had my alt Twitter, they would know how to find me. But we're not talking about my alt Twitter because we're talking about this. And right now, what we're talking about is the people that don't follow our podcast that follow us individually. So if those people took the time to follow us, but they don't follow the other people that are way more popular than us, I just don't understand what the disconnect is. And again, like I said, maybe they don't like our content, but just on GP, I know Jeff. I know Darius. I'm going to follow them and I'm just going to like it just because it's them and I want them to grow. I don't know why they don't do it, and I'm not interested, but I'm not interested in finding out, but I'm also not the type of person to beg people to follow us. Because I feel like if you don't want to follow us, that's cool. That's fine. But if we ever get to the point where we've gotten to critical mass popularity, and for me, I feel like that would just say like, let's say 5,000 followers on YouTube. And then I see those little likes come through from those people and be like, oh, okay, cute. Not going to say anything. I'm just going to be like, oh, that's nice. You finally got on board. Well, you need to go back to 2023 and watch those episodes too. Listen to those audio only. While you hear. So, yeah, I think while we do have the availability to create these spaces, we can't force people's hands on what they consume, and I would appreciate people saying, hey, y'all podcasts suck, or I don't like this about your podcast. At least I know you've watched, and now we've got some feedback so we can know what we could work on or make better. Those things would be great, because I don't want people to just kind of be like watching just to watch, or there's TV shows and things that I feel like are pretty much B-movie type of content that's on YouTube and other things, and people just watch because it's gay people and like, ooh, this is so great, blah, 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 blah. And as soon as you criticize them, then it's like, well, you need to watch them just because they black and gay and blah, 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 this and another. Well, your audio is wrong. You're like, you got the left side is one person and the right side is the other person speaking. Like, y'all need to down mix or mix your audio correctly. But if I say something like that, then now I'm hating. So, I don't take it as hate. If it was the same thing with us, like, well, Jeff's camera is always fuzzy. Why is his lighting always bad? This and the other. Fine, great. Now I know what I need to work on to make this better. So the next time you watch JustDrawz, you would see that Jeff's lighting got better or Jeff's audio got better. These are the things that, constructive criticism is perfectly fine. So yeah, I feel like we have the ability to create these spaces. Everyone's just not, the monolith is not hopping on to watch all these different spaces and the different niches and the different subcultures.
So I don't think we hold space. Personally, I don't think we hold space for diverse voices or perspectives. Like you said, Jeff, soon as you say something that is contrary to what they believe or contrary to the rhetoric that they are spewing at that point, or the rhetoric that they are producing at that point, soon as you go against that, yeah, you're hating. I mean, I can I can give you a prime example. There was a person that I follow online, and we met years ago, I think it was, and everything, we were cool, everything was fine, and we kind of lost touch, but we were still close on social media. We still follow each other on social media. I ain't gonna say close, but so he posted something. This was probably 2 years ago or so, and he said something to the effect of, "Oh, am I thick?" And like he took this picture of his body, and it was like, no, So I posted. I said, "Well," I said, "No," I said, "You're not thick." I said, "But you are definitely, still very attractive or whatever, but thick, no." And he immediately responded and said something about he was trying to keep things cute and et cetera, but I didn't need to say anything. And I was just like, well, you asked a fucking question to the people. And so when I came in and said, no, you're still, you're very attractive, but no, you're not thick, and you're chasing that because the community values that. They value a fat ass, a big dick, muscles, tall, dark skin or light skin, whichever one you want to go. They value those singular sort of attributes, and so you're chasing that. And I'm like, nah, you're not thick, but. So it's stuff like that. So I don't think we hold space for that. I don't think we hold space if somebody came along that was doing something completely different than what everybody else is doing in the space, that we wouldn't embrace it. We wouldn't go, oh, you know what? This is different. This is something that's not the same. And that's one thing that we talk about all the time with this podcast is that I don't like talking about love, sex, and relationships all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
All of the other gay podcasts, I ain't gonna say all of them, but a lot of the other gay podcasts hinge on love, sex, and relationships. And it's like, okay, I don't want to talk about that stuff. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about politics. Let's talk about, we talked about friendship. Let's talk about food. Let's talk about memories. Let's talk about stuff that relates to us as being minorities and our experience as Black men. Let's talk about some of those other things. But again, we don't see that. It's all of the views and the clicks and the likes come from the people who are talking about love, sex, and relationships.
Who should pay for the date?
Yeah, who did you fuck, and how was this, and what happened when this happened? Yeah,
I went to a sex party. This is what happened,
and this is what happened at the sex party. Yeah, and glory hole, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about that all the time.
Yeah, and we are a sex positive podcast, but we don't want to talk about that stuff all the time. Like there's other shit to talk about.
There should be other shit to talk about.
I also think, people in shows or content creators that just do things for the wow factor. Like, they'll go out there, they'll throw a bucket of ice over their heads with a bunch of color in it in order to, make people look at it or make people click on it or whatever.
Or the get ready with me videos.
The get ready with me videos. I mean, and even, when we talk about unboxings, I've done a couple of unboxings just to get my feet wet to see if there's something that, if I enjoy doing it or if it's something that I can keep consistent, because I will go shop. I'll go buy some shit. But, that's the thing. It's like, the people want to follow trends. And when I started my show, that was one of the other things. I was like, I'm not doing shit to make people, just to have people click on my shit. I'm not going to, I'll talk about sex and it can get real raunchy real fast. Sure. But we gonna have some educated conversations around here. And we gonna talk about some emotional intelligence around here. We're gonna have some real good conversations, because also, that's where we talk about the layered part of it. As much as, yes, I love sex and love to talk about men and the type of men I like to look at or the type of porn I like to watch or whatever, as much as I love that, I also love the fact to dig a little deeper and to talk about other shit too. Now, moving into our next topic and segment, where we are going to have a little bit of a conversation about masculinity versus femininity.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
I know. I know.
Here we go.
Which, if before I ask my question, if I may, has always been a topic in my world because I specifically remember in the early 2000s being on the party line, and I've always had a feminine voice. My voice has never been super deep. It's always been soft. And it was always a question of, are you masculine or are you feminine? And I was always like, I'm just me. Like, I don't know how to fucking answer that question. I don't really know what you mean by me being masculine. I don't really know what you mean by me being feminine. But if you see me walking down the street, I got some hips, I got ass. Sometimes you may think I'm a lady from behind, but when you see me from the front, just know I'm a boy, or that's how I present. But why do you think masculinity is still more valued in gay spaces when we think about
let me go first. It's two reasons. Number one, it is what I consider like a premium option. And there are some people, I used this analogy years and years ago with a friend of mine when he was talking about dating. And I said, do you all remember, and they still do this now with some restaurants where you get like the 2 for $20 deal or something like that. All right, Jeff, you might know where I'm going with this, but you have the 2 for $20, right? So when you go to the restaurant, the 2 for $20, there's certain things that you can choose on the 2 for $20. All right. But then there's what are called the premium options. And then if you choose a premium option on the 2 for $20 or the 2 for $20, that's a little bit more. It might be 2 for $25. And then there's another premium option there that might be 2 for $30. So they don't tell you that on the initial when they're advertising the special or the deal. Most people come to the restaurant with $20. So they really only can get the 2 for $20, but they want something that's off of the 2 for $25 list or the 2 for $30 list. So that's one thing. So it's kind of not as attainable for certain people because, like you just said earlier, like some people, even though you are you are a man, or you're male, like there are certain things that present not necessarily traditionally or societally male. So that's one. The second thing is that masculinity is very hetero leaning or hetero adjacent. And there are some people who value that being able to pass in society. And if they're not able to pass, being who they are, that it's something, again, that they are looking for, something that they want to attain. So I think that those are the two things that I think are very why it's still valued.
I think that masculinity has the perception of being more valued because, like Darius said about the heteronormity about it, because we have this still, and probably will still have this until the end of time, a lot of men desire the DL guy. And so the DL guy is going to be someone that is bi, still engages with sex and relationships with women and has sex with women and, will be married, date women, these things. So if I can pull this man, then that means my ass and dick is so good that I can pull him away from a woman, this, that, and other. So that value is there. And there's also the fact that if you are a masculine gay man and you're comfortable with yourself, you may want another masculine man because you want someone that is what? All together now, unclockable.
I thought you was getting ready to say himbo.
No. So you want someone that's quote unquote unclockable so that y'all can go do the things and it not be so obvious that you guys are in a relationship. And that makes sense. You're a man, you're gay, you would be attracted to another man that is going to be masculine and manly. But that also kind of discounts the fact that some masculine men do like to have a more femme-presenting man or a butch queen or someone that's in between. And there's nothing wrong with that either. I just think that in general, I think the out loud and proudest people tend to be more comfortable with stating what they want. And so if those people are also, I'm wearing the rainbows, good with having the makeup, a light beat on my face, I'll wear, like fingernails and these things and the other, I'm comfortable with myself because I'm me and I wear whatever I want. And if it is something that ladies wear, okay, well, I can wear what I want to wear. I'm a man. I can do that, right? Because we have those people that tend to be the most vocal. If they're desiring that, that's where I think that value comes from being masculine as well, because the muscles and the chest and he works out and he got a job down to the garage working on the cars, or he owns a lawn service, or he's a barber. All of these big buff football players, basketball players, all those things, that is what people put value on. And it's interesting too, because even though we are a gay podcast, I feel like that also translates with a lot of lesbians. Like, they really like masculine presenting studs as well. I mean, even though the pretty girls, they got their own things, but there's still a lot of desirability for those masculine presenting ladies as well when it comes to their gay relationships.
So many things are said, and I'm just like, when I think back to, because my husband is not very masculine, and I feel like there's things that we do that would be considered masculine. Like, we work a lot in our yard and we do a lot of stuff around the house, etc. But when I think about when I was dating and when I think about men that I've been attracted to, I feel like they not always have been very masculine. And when I think about the value of it, it's really just what it boils down to me is, can you keep a job? Do you know some things? You got a little street smarts on you. Can you change a tire? Because I don't want to do that. And will you take out the trash? Because I'm not doing that either. It's like, it's not necessarily, I don't know. I don't know. I can't seem to think about like the masculinity portion of it, or if I value that, if it wholeheartedly needs to be something that needs to be a part of somebody that I'm dating or somebody that I find attractive or something like that, or can I find the masculinity in some of the things that they're doing instead of holding that to be one of the main things. The other part is, I've never liked DL men, never been interested. They have been interested in me, but I'm like, no, because I don't have time. I will go to jail.
Okay.
I don't have time. I will go to jail. And it's fine. We don't need to do any of this.
So let me ask you this in terms of femininity. Do you think that femininity is more accepted within the community, or is it just tolerated?
I think it's tolerated to some extent. Like Jeff brought up nails, and I get my nails done. Have always gotten them done. I've gotten them done since I was 18, and then as I gotten older, I just was like, okay, I'm gonna get back into it because I can keep it up. It's what I do for me. But I don't wear nails. That's the thing. It's like there's creators and people on the internet who wear nails. These grow out of my body, and I just go get them done and painted. And I think that it is tolerated. I think that, depending on who you're with and when you're out, and if you're trying to be interested, it's like, if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. I mean, I remember when I started dating my husband, it took me a long time before I would let him see me get dressed, because on some days I put a little light beat on. I was like, oh my God, this man can't see me. Putting on concealer.
Right. Until
it's time. And, and I think, and with him being in the beauty industry already, it was fine, obviously, but I think it also may sometimes be what's in the back of our minds of, if I'm out here, I'm dating, what are these people going to want to see from me And how can I make myself that in order to get what I'm looking for or what I want out of it?
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Jeff, I'm sorry, you were getting ready to say something, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, similarly, I've dated who I thought was attractive, not necessarily desired or put masculinity as the primary thing, or the primary metric when dating them. If they were masculine, it was like, oh, okay, cool. But I've dated from masculine to what people could say in between or a butch queen or whatever. I liked them. So I didn't really care about the level of masculinity that they had. I kind of like, okay, I'm attracted to this person. We get along. Everything's cool. Let's see where this goes. And so it's interesting to hear that, a lot of times guys that will identify as more femme presenting, in the Black community, we hardly ever see they bump in purses types of relationships. And, I've seen that a lot of times.
Who's doing the bending?
Right. I've seen that a lot in other non-Black relationships where you can see, oh, the two white guys are together and they're both more femme presenting. There's two guys that were on Drag Race, a season that I watched, and they were both drag queens or whatever. And I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting because you would hardly ever see two Black drag queens or people that were in drag culture like that, at least not from my perspective. So let me say my experience. See that type of relationship happening. You would see more, okay, so one person is more femme, the other person is more masculine, or they have a similar type of masculinity level, but not anything where the femininity level are kind of like more in tune with each other. So I think that's very interesting that you have a relationship, that you have a husband, not a relationship, that you got a whole man, you got a ring on it, situation for you. So I think that's very interesting. But yeah, my dating history has been all over the place when it comes to the types of guys that I like, but I never really used that metric. And as far as like DL, man, I did that once when I was in college, just for the excitement of it, or just not knowing any better. But I've been in a room where guys are DL or were DL, or I guess they are DL, that said that they would deactivate their living experience if someone found out that they were messing around with men. And I was like, I didn't need it to be solidified, but that was like, all right, I'm sitting over on this side of the room now. You can stay over there. I'm good because it's not that serious to me. So yeah, I don't that DL path y'all can have that is not a road I want to be down. Too many people being deactivated from life because of that. And I'm not going to be the one. I'm too old for that. And as a person that is out of the closet, living their life the way they want, that would be a regression for me to have that experience. So I would implore any of our nephews that are watching this, get that DL out your system and leave that man alone.
Yes. Wiser words were never spoken. Let's talk about something else here. In season 1, when we did an audio only podcast, the first episode, it was our pilot episode, matter of fact, we talked about the lack of gay male representation, specifically in the media. Okay. So do you think that we're more represented in mainstream gay culture, not necessarily just like mainstream culture or media in general, but mainstream gay culture?
Well, I feel like we definitely have a little bit more representation of Black gay men as far as media goes. Like, P-Valley, of course. There's the Tyler Perry shows that are on TV. I
don't watch any of those.
I don't watch any of them either, but I've seen clips and things online. I think, what is it? Beauty in Black, all the Queen's Men, the show about the cult. I think there is some same-sex activity happening in that. A lot of the reality shows now, we see more gay representation there. Those are real life people, from House Hunters to even like you mentioned before, Food TV. We've seen gay people participate on, or Black gay men. And even though it's not like their center of their lives, but, on a show like Chopped or whatever, we've seen that representation in some way. But I think as far as like scripted TV, we've come a long way. But, there's a whole lot less Black content, I feel, in general. But, I feel like from the time that we recorded that podcast episode to now, there is more of that. What's the show? The one with Kim Fields and the guy that
the Upshot.
The Upshots. Yes. That character that married the content creator OBO. So there's that. So yeah, we've got some representation, at least in scripted TV.
I would say yes to in all of the above of what Jeff has already said. And I would say for sure in, the spaces that we're into, and then in music too. Thankfully now.
Yeah. Duran.
And Duran Bernard. Frank Ocean said, but we don't hear a lot from Frank Ocean these days, but Frank Ocean. But yes, in those spaces and in the creative space, and then artists and obviously designers and things like that as well. So I would definitely say yes without getting too wordy.
I don't know. I'm on the fence with this. I think that we still have, yes, there are more Black gay males in media, sure. But I still feel like those areas or levels of representation are still very trope-esque. So whereas before, when we go back to like the 70s and the 80s, the gay person and even the early 90s, if we think back to, like in Living Color and stuff like that, like the gay men that were portrayed in those shows were very flamboyant. They were very in your face. They were very girl, this and you must be right. They were very right. And
you saw almondy.
Yes, right. And I'm gonna give you two snaps in a circle, and in Z formation, so it was all of those things. But then we move or we shift more toward things like what one of our co-hosts was talking about, the DL Chronicles. But even in the DL Chronicles, they were still tropes. It was, okay, we're not going to show you the flamboyant gay male anymore. We're going to show you the more masculine presenting gay male. And so now it feels like that's what we're getting a lot more of. Like, it doesn't seem to be a healthy mixture of both. It's like one or the other. Either we're going to give you, sissy queen, or we're going to give you unclockable trade. And it's like, okay, where's the balance in that? Like, where are they mixing with each other in that? Like it's not there per se. So, or where are the gamers? Where are those people who are gay men who play video games that are a little bit more nerdy? Where are the people who are a lot more creative and just eccentric, but they're gay? Where are the people who are where we see a lot of the gym rats and stuff like that? So those are definitely there. But what about the gym rats who still have a high level of femininity about them? Like, where are they? They have these muscular bodies and they look like this, but then they open their mouth and you're like, ooh, okay, whoa, where is that representation? So while I'm grateful that there are other forms of gay men that show up in various, programming and things that we watch and stuff like that, honestly, I still see, when we talk about mainstream gay culture or mainstream gay content, it's still very trope. Like, I think about the show I hate, the Pop the Balloon shit, the gay versions of the Pop the Balloon show. It's bad. Yes, it's horrible. It's the exact same thing. So I'm kind of on the fence with that.
But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. And only I'm bringing this up because we brought up television. The first thing I thought of was Noah's Ark, and, Wade and Noah, and then Alex and Ricky and Chance, and then and how they built out, the stories behind them. And the first thing I think about with what you're saying is Wade his character was the DL Black guy, and then Noah was the ultra feminine, and then Ricky was the hoe group, essentially.
Yeah, that's
and then
right.
Chance was the homemaker, and and I think that I do wish stories like that, or stories of like a group of friends, because also you don't get a good group of gay Black friends or of color friends on TV like we did at that point in time, and it's not consistent, and there's always some drama about a crossover fucking a boyfriend or somebody or something. And so, I do wish we had more representation when it came to just a consistent storyline. It could be some drama, it can be some shit, but can we keep it still at the end of the day? We still cool, we still friends, we still taking care of each other at the end of the day.
And there are some shows on YouTube that kind of are in that lane or trying to be in that lane. And so I definitely want to say that I acknowledge those. I can't name them right now because I've only kind of seen like bits and pieces. I'm like, oh, that's cute. I will come back to this eventually. I just haven't, but I think as far as if we're going to talk about like network TV or a streaming service, then no, we don't have that. The most recent thing we have is that Noah's Ark special that came out last year, I think.
I still haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah,
not
but
a gas.
I was thinking about. I was thinking about Noah's Ark too when Darius was talking. But when he mentioned "Pop the Balloon," I did want to say that on one of those versions, of the gay versions, I think it was brought up that y'all always had the same type of gays on this show. I guess a monolith.
Okay, because they are.
Because they and I will say that there are a certain type of gays that are on that show, but when a contestant was a little bit more even toned, people weren't going up for it, so I don't know. Like I feel like that format of content was fine the first like month and a half, and then once everybody else started copying it and copying that format, people were trying to go viral, get a moment, just be mean to folks. And, to me, it's like, are y'all really trying to go on a date, or y'all just want to be seen on this platform so you can increase your views on your different social media accounts? Because
the latter.
That's what it feels like now. It doesn't feel like, oh, I'm really going to go on this show and try to find somebody to date. Because you walk into some of these times, they walk into the room and they pop, pop, pop. Well, I know him. He's had sex with my friend. Blah, 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 blah. We went on a date. It didn't work out. Like, okay, well, clearly y'all in the same circle as it is. So were you expecting to find brand new people in your city that you never seen before?
And everybody's trying to be a damn city girl. I don't want to date a city girl. I don't.
I mean, and then the first
you're also not on Pop the Balloon.
The first thing they're talking about is that they don't want nothing serious too. And it just doesn't make any sense to me.
I watched a clip of a show where somebody said, and it was so dope. I was like, this is exactly right. He said, when I come on to a dating app or something like that, and I tell you that just looking for sex, other people will side eye that, but then they won't side eye somebody who says I'm looking for something more than sex and then just get sex and then leave them alone. And so he's like, why is it that people are so judgmental about others who are being honest and upfront about what they want? Right. And I was like, that's very true. Very true.
But I'd rather know what we're getting into. If you're telling me that you're just looking for sex, you don't want anything that's any deeper than that. All right, cool. Because now I know what time you're on. I don't want someone to tell me that they're interested in more than sex. And then when it comes down to it, that's really all they want in the end or from the start. So don't lie to me. Just tell me what you want up front, and then I can make that choice on if I want to pursue that, because I may be on that same time,
Agreed.
Okay.
And earlier we were talking about we're talking about just like when we're looking at the different social media platforms and things like that and the people that we follow. And when we're looking for representation, in what areas do you feel like you would like to see more representation of, people that look like you, whether that be in real life or, in specific genres of stories or television? Name it specifically. What are some of those areas that you want to see more representation in?
Yeah, I was going to say, I pretty much agree with what Darius said earlier. Like when I would love for us to have a ensemble cast of friends that are diverse and still kind of going through life and trying to navigate, like a gay insecure, a gay or a modernized or a different take on a Noah's Ark. And seeing that on a major streaming platform, something like that, because like we said, there are diverse subcultures within Black gay networks, and I don't think that we get that in that with that representation. Like you said, where are the Black gay gamers? Where are the thick guys that are into kinks, that do OnlyFans? It's not all about the skinny mini muscular 2% body fat guys. There's lots of different people that have that as part of what they do as far as their side hustles, or their main gig is they do content. They're adult sex workers. So there's a lot of different ways and different areas of representation that we can have. So I would love to see a comedy dramedy, rom-com thing where that's a story that's being told. Someone that's trying to just make it through life, or even a coming of age story where someone's like, hey, I just got out of high school and now I'm in college and now I'm going through oh shit, out here, I don't have my mom or my dad on my back. And this dude is 2 years older than me. He's a junior and he wants me to come back to his room. What's up? Like, that's an experience that I think a lot of people would be interested in watching, because a lot of us have had similar experiences, or we've known someone that got to college and just their whole world just expanded because now they can live their life without having to worry about the people back home knowing what they're into. So yeah, I would love to see that type of representation a lot more on a TV show or movie.
I agree. I guess I was just going to say that I said some of the areas that I would like to see us do more and to show more representation earlier. So I think that those things are, still hold true to your point as well.
Before we get into the next topic, I was thinking we may want to take a little break. So
Okay.
I was thinking, let's take a quick little break and then we'll come right back.
Works for me.
Okay.
All right. If you've made it this far in this episode and you haven't subscribed yet, that's wild. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Tap in everywhere, child. Because apparently the algorithm only respects consistency and emotional damage. And to my professional doom scrollers out there, girl, yes, I'm talking to you. If you can scroll for 47 minutes and not press the subscribe button, we can have a full conversation on how you need to go ahead and dedicate yourself to something, girl, because it sounds like you got some dedication issues. Help us beat the algorithm, girl. Like, comment, share, send it to your girlfriends, your boyfriends, your lady friends, your they, them friends. The ones who love to chit chat about all the tea but never really want to start that podcast. Because I want them in my comment box. Don't just watch the Cheesemate, join the Cheesemate, girl. Subscribe, follow, and stay connected, honey, because we building something cute up over here and we want you to be a part of it. Yeah. And we're back. I'll kick it back to you, Darius.
All right, cool. So let's talk about desirability. We talked a little bit about that, and we talked a little bit about preferences too. So let me ask this. How effective do you think things are, like, in terms of like dating and relationships, when everybody seems to be looking for the same thing?
What is that thing?
that thing. No, everybody seems to be looking for the same traits. Like, everybody seems to be looking for somebody masculine. Everybody seems to be looking for somebody who has muscles, somebody who has a big dick, somebody who has a big ass, somebody who loves their mama, somebody who loves God, somebody who drives this kind of car, who has this sort of job, has their own place, willing to take care of them, like on and on. Like, everybody seems to be looking for the same things. So how effective do you think dating and relationship building is when everybody's looking for the same stuff?
Well, everybody doesn't have the same things. So
True.
That's the first thing that we need to accept, is that you're going to be disappointed if you're looking for someone that can check off 100% of every box that you have. Because every man is not in shape. Every man does not have a big dick. Every man does not have a fat ass. Every man is not smooth all around their body. So every man's not a multi-degreed, independent business owner, content creator, socialite. So we have to start compromising and deciding on what things are the most important when we do meet these guys and these men. Like, what am I willing to realistically tone down or set my expectations so that I'm not 100% disappointed because I can't find the perfect man. And when we do find this person that we are compromising on, because someone's compromising for us. And I think that's the one thing that we also have to remember is that we are not a monolith and we're not perfect either. So if someone has chosen you to be their husband, to be their boyfriend, to be the person that they are hooking up with, they've compromised in choosing you in some kind of way because you're not perfect. And so once we kind of can level set with that, then we can move forward. Because I know, hey, if I want somebody that has at least a bachelor's degree, makes at least $60,000, can keep their job, has been, disease, drug free or whatever, if that's my preference, I have to decide on, okay, which one of these things am I going to be able to accept this person with if they don't have this? What's the priority here? So, and then kind of go from there. So I don't think that it's realistic to expect that you're going to find Mr. Right that matches 100%. And it kind of goes to that 80-20 rule that I'm all about because, again, someone's going to be disappointed if they don't decide what they want. That's not as important as the other things. You got to prioritize.
Yeah, I agree with that. The first thing I think about is when I met my husband, we started dating and everything, and all he would talk about was 50-50. And I said, okay, tell me more about this 50-50 that, you feel like we need to be. And, for him, it was like, financially and, we have to be able to, if I got to pick it up, you got to pick it up and all of the things. And I said, okay. And then, and like I mentioned, he is in the beauty industry. So he's been doing hair for 26 years. And I've always worked in some sort of office or corporate setting of some way, shape, or form of something. And I was like, well, do you have health insurance? And he was like, no, I don't have health insurance. I had to have health insurance. I was like, okay, well, my job offers for me to have somebody on my health insurance. Should I put you on mine? Because, if it's 50-50, I don't want to make you feel like you doing more because you can cover more financial things. But all of a sudden I can cover you on your health insurance and make sure you're alive for the next couple of years. Or, oh, are you cooking dinner tonight? Or no, I need to cook dinner and wash the dishes and put the food up, but we not splitting that. Or are you taking out the trash? Because I done cooked dinner, cleaned, and did all of these things. You see where I'm going with all of this, right? Like, I think that as you start to date somebody or you have a conversation with someone, you can go through that list. But I also think there's certain things like you've already mentioned, Jeff, about compromising or not about settling or even compromising on things and picking and choosing the different areas where you'll say, if he has this, he may not have that. We can go ahead and move forward with, whatever, the situation may be for that time being. And I think that's kind of where I've always led. I had a list once upon a time and, it didn't always work out. So I think that if you can ask yourself, what are you willing to give up and what are you willing to take in order to be with, if you want to be with this person or if you just want to date this person or whatever the situation is in that moment or in that time.
Yeah, I have to agree with both of you. The lack of compromise is why you hear a lot of people use this other overused phrase that the dating pool has piss in it. It's because everybody's looking for the same pissy person. And when you think you found somebody you find out that that's one of the people who pissed in the pool.
Right.
And you're like, oh, wait a minute, you pissed in the pool too. Okay. Oh, you pissed in the pool too. Oh, you pissed in the pool too. But you're following the exact same blueprint, the same list that you've always had, and you haven't tried to compromise on that. Like Jeff said, you're not thinking about what somebody is compromising with you. I mean, and sometimes people wear the things that would be issues or red flags or mean places where people should pause. They read those as badges of honor. Like they say, oh, I'm crazy. I've had people tell me that so many times, and I'm like, oh, okay, well then let me leave you the fuck alone, because I don't do crazy. I don't deal in that, or somebody's like, oh, well, that's my alter ego. Okay, let me leave you alone, because I don't do multiple personality disorder or dissociative identity disorder. I don't do that shit. So let me leave you alone. But you think that shit is cute, or that's Sasha Fierce, or
I'm a bad communicator.
I'm a bad communicator. Like why is that? Right.
We recognize what the problem is, but we're not doing shit about it.
Not doing anything about it. And somewhere, and smiling about the shit at the end of the day, like, I don't communicate well. Oh, okay, well, then
what you want me to
this
do
ain't gonna
about
work
that?
out.
Yeah, right. Peace. So that's what I think. I think that it's not effective at all. And I think that's when we're able to stop being a monolith or stop doing monolithic shit, then we'll be able to say, okay, you know what? Let me look at what's going to make me happy. Let me look at what makes me feel good, and where I think I can grow with someone, or where I feel like I can help someone grow if they might be deficient in an area.
So in that same token, do you think your attraction has changed over time, or, what has influenced what you've been attracted to over time?
Yeah, definitely. Mine have changed a little bit, because I was kind of like Jeff was talking about earlier when we were talking about masculinity. Like, that was my thing. My thing was, oh, I don't want to date I don't want to date necessarily a feminine, guy. But what I did was I stepped back from that and I said, why do I feel that way? Why am I saying that? It was two reasons. One was I was uncomfortable with my own sexuality, and I was very guarded with that. And I still kind of am to an extent. And I talk about that on one of my Get to Know Me episode. I'm still really guarded with that. So what for me is, it's like, if I'm with somebody that immediately two people or somebody outside of our relationship won't look at me and go, oh, look at those two gay guys, then that makes me feel better. So it was that. And then it was, what I also learned was that it's not that I don't like femininity. I don't like flamboyancy. That was the thing for me. So it didn't have to be like, flamboyancy could be, oh, I can go 0 to 100 real quick, or like, your food ain't right at the restaurant, so you immediately ready to go off. Like, I don't deal with that. But then also, from a male perspective, the first instinct that you have when somebody wrongs you is to immediately go to anger or immediately be ready to fight. That's kind of, you ready to crash out, as people say, like that, or spaz out. Like that's flamboyant to me. And I'm like, no, I need you to check in with what you're feeling in that moment and respond accordingly. So either way, in that, I've learned that I just don't like that. So when you have guys that are hyper masculine, or you have guys that are hyper feminine, or even when I dated, women years ago, women who were too for the streets, or too of the streets, or too of their environment, if you know what I mean, too urban sometimes. Like, I'm like, I don't want to use the G word, but but I'm like,
pop, as we
right, that, like,
rat-a-tat-tat,
rat-a-tat-tat. Okay, and all the cops scattered. Like, like, I don't want that. So
I feel that. I mean, the only thing that I would add is, before I got married, I dated different types of guys. In, a lot of the things that come up when we talk about the preference part of the conversation is, you know, if Black men like to date white men, or if white men like to date Black men, and then the sexualization behind white men dating Black men and all of the things. I find myself just being like, well, okay, as long as they're not being disrespectful about it, can they just not like want to date a Black man if they don't want to? Like, what exactly are we holding on to when this conversation comes up? When it comes, if they're talking about, no, I don't date Black men, and I'm like, okay, no, this goes deeper than what you're just saying to me, that you don't like to date Black men. This is more to that. Or what are we trying to get out of the conversation if this is what the person is saying? We don't need to have a further conversation because we know that it goes way deeper than that. And I just feel like my spectrum is all over the place. I've dated Filipino men, I've dated Hispanic men, I've dated an Indian guy before. I think that over time, the type of men I've been attracted to, the consistency part is that they've all been older, mature men, either in the same age group as me or a little older than me, because I don't want to be having. I think I'm a little too old to be a himbo now. In the back days, maybe so, but now I'm more than sure I'm too old to be a himbo. I don't want to be having a conversation with somebody who is younger than me, and I'm just looking at them like, gosh, you sound so stupid. Because that's the first thing that's going to come to my mind. Like, I just don't want to do that. So has it evolved? Yes. But, I've been pretty consistent all my life that I've always dated somebody older than me. And it's just, I've dated all around the spectrum of type of men that I found attractive. But I think that's just the eclecticness of who I am.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Similar to you, I have at least hooked up with the entire spectrum, the entire rainbow. And so, cultural background, race has not had a bearing on my feeling someone is attractive or not. As far as getting to the point where we've had a actual relationship or gone on more than, 3 dates, that's been exclusively Black men. And so when I was younger, I wanted guys that looked more similar to me and were in the same age range, because that was just more what was available as far as that dating pool. So if you were 25 and I thought you were attractive and I was 25, good, great. Let's see where things go. And as I've gotten older, I kind of increased my age range to a bit, and now it's kind of similar. Like, now that I'm 50, I still kind of am in that same little window. Like, okay, well, 40 is about the lowest I can go. 61 is probably like the highest I can go. We need to be within that range for me to think that you are a valuable person for me to date. Because as I've gotten older, I realize, kind of like what you just said, Dana, I need someone that I can share commentary on things that generationally you would know. Like, if I quote The Color Purple, you need to know about that. If I quote A Different World, you need to know about that. I don't want to have to explain to you what it was like waiting on the Scream video with Janet and Michael to premiere, or, watching, certain touch points, like when Baby Jessica fell down a well. Like, I don't want to have to explain.
Wow.
You took it there.
Right.
Okay. See, that's the other thing he does. He'll bring something out of the sticks and you be like, whoa.
Yeah. Yes. Those are things that if I want to talk about, I don't want to have to explain that to you. So I will need you to be within a certain age range physically. Ever since I was, young, I did kind of like guys that were kind of not necessarily, muscular or whatever. I knew I didn't like guys that were too skinny. When I messed around with guys that were skinny, I just kind of felt like, you just feel like a bag of bones. So I knew that I wanted to be with men that were a little bit more fuller. And when I mean that, I just, not necessarily muscular or thick or anything, but just had a little bit more presence about them, a little bit more stature. And so, I've gotten to the point where, the range of guys that I find attractive now is also very wide. Like I used to not, consider guys that were, super duper muscular. And then that was something that was like, oh, I really kind of like this. Or guys that were what we would say overweight, thick guys. I never really kind of considered that until like maybe the past 15 years. And once I moved here, I kind of like, oh, I think I like this body type, so there's that, and so I would think what influences that, I just don't know. Like my libido, I like what I like. And, that's just pretty much it. If I don't like it, I just don't like it. But, I've dated or have hooked up with a spectrum of different bodies and a spectrum of different ethnicities. And, I know what I like, what I don't like. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter as long as we are compatible. And me and Darius have had a similar conversation on JustDrawz about, what we found attractive in different races. So, so speaking about hooking up, so when it comes to sex, do we think that the availability of sex is that something that creates some type of value when you are in the gay community? Like if you're sexy, does that create a higher value for you or more attraction for someone that may not be necessarily into sex as much?
It absolutely does. It goes back to that same thing that we talked about masculinity. And for me, it's that whole thing of masculinity is that premium, is one of those premium options. If you are sexy, you have a nice body, you got, you showing off bulge and all of that stuff on your social media, that's going to get people in the door. People are going to come after that and they are going to accept you more because you have pretty privilege or you're a body boy or all of those things. So they're going to put you on that pedestal initially, until you start to engage with them, and then maybe they will go, okay, well, maybe this person's not for me, or this person looks this way or has this sort of physical or aesthetic appeal, but they don't have anything else. There's no substance there, but that's always going to get you in the door. And it's unfortunate because, again, there are really dope people who may not be conventionally attractive, or they may not be conventionally sexy, to most people. You don't just see that person and go, damn, like you may not have that, so a lot of people don't have that, but it's unfortunate. Like I said, that seems to be the price to kind of enter the gay community, or one of the prices to enter the gay community, not like the only one. That's a good question.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also, I see the difference when I go out. If I'm out and I wear like t-shirt and some jeans and a baseball hat, versus if I go out and I'm in a tank top, it's see-through, I got some little shorts on and some sneakers, and it's two different reactions. The crowd is doing two different things. People are looking or they're not looking. And, we have to show some sort of appeal to get some sort of attention, because it needs to be on the table for people to pay attention. They have to feel like they want something out of it, whether it's just looking or they giving them something that they can feel.
Okay, thank you, Aretha and In Vogue. That's right.
It's and I've noticed this. I've noticed this even from when I was much smaller, for where the size that I am now. It's different, and it doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter what size, but as long as if somebody finds it attractive and they love it and they want to see it, then I've been able to tell the differences. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like because men are very visual and sexually charged as it is, I think that's just kind of part of the game. And I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. I think it's unfortunate if say a person doesn't feel that they're attractive and they're not getting the likes or the attention, that they may feel like they don't have that value because they may not have the body, or they may not have the dick or the ass or whatever that people are chasing after. But I also am the type of person that I feel like every key has a hole. And sometimes you just got to make sure that you are in the right crowd of people that are attracted to what you're giving. And that might not necessarily be the type of people that you are attracted to. But you also have to be realistic, with that. Like if you are not a body boy and you're around the body boys that want other body boys, you may want to level set about what you are chasing after, or work on those things. And that doesn't mean that every body boy wants another body boy. There's body boys that like them thick, like them thin. They don't care, so that ain't ever stopped a lot of people from getting that muscular dude or whatever. But you do have to find that crowd that is into what you're presenting. I will say
that's what's so hard too, though. It's hard to kind of find some of that stuff, especially if you're looking for, if you're not a body boy, but you like body boys, like the chances of you running across somebody that is a body boy that will want you is, it's difficult. It's rough. And not to say that it's impossible, but it's rough to find sometimes.
When you say body boy, we're talking about boys that work out, right? Like that.
Yes. Like okay. In the built, muscular, have visible abs, 13% body fat around that or less, that range of guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify for my own.
Yeah, not necessarily like, a thick muscular guy, like what I want to say, like a rugby player or something like that. When I say body boys, I'm talking about, the type. They're in the gym. Yeah. They always shirtless and all that.
Yeah, and their Instagrams have fit in it. So so-and-so fit so-and-so fit blank, yeah. So these fit pages, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to like look at this.
Look at the usernames.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So, I don't think it's impossible, but it is something that you would have to put more effort. And the same would go like if you are a person that, wants somebody that's super thin and skinny. Sometimes those people don't deal with people that are, even muscular. So some people do not like muscles. Muscles can feel like stone, very hard and, not buoyant or bouncy or anything like that. And I like a guy that's like a rugby player because they have, the muscles and they got a little bit of the juiciness as well. You got the great mix of things, that's just one of the types that I like. So yeah. That's where I'm at with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with, showing a little bit more if that's what you want. I think we all should have the ability to express ourselves and be a little bit more sexy if that's what we want to do. But like you said, Dana, like I noticed that, in certain environments, I've been like groped or people have like, felt on me, felt on my chest, felt on my butt, grabbed my crotch. And I just kind of like, we all just getting sexually harassed up in here because it's just one of those things.
What did you do when that happened?
Okay. So my initial reaction 9 times out of 10, if I can't see the person, my reflexes normally get me in a position where I try to like find out who it is and like grab them. Just because I have very quick reflexes, usually because I'm a gamer. If I know the person, because this has happened to people that I know, it's going to like, oh, it's just you. I don't really care about you touching on me or whatever, then that's fine. But if I go to a circuit party, or when I've been to circuit parties and that's happened, I've been like, kind of like, I don't know you. Fuck you touched me for like, I don't. And I could be attracted to them, but I just don't want that to happen. But I let them know like, hey, I do not want to be touched by you. I don't know you like that. And, they could be attractive and into me, but that just kind of like turns me off. And I'm just like, whatever. I don't care. I didn't ask you or present this to you to be touched. Like, you can do that with those other guys, not me.
Okay. Okay.
But like I said, it happens so often, and a lot of people really don't talk about it because some people like to, be groped and things like that. I'm not one of those people, even though I'm a physical touch person. If I don't know you like that and I haven't invited you to do that to me, then no, I don't want that type of touch from, a stranger like that. It's not my thing. So if you see this and you see me out, you may want to have a little bit of a conversation with me first before you just try to touch on me.
Okay. Better.
Well, speaking of circuit parties, that must mean we outside.
We outside.
So my question for us, for you all to kick it off is, why do so many of our social spaces, infrastructures, and centers around the same thing? So clubs, bars, and parties, whether that be like a friend party or a big circuit party, like you've already mentioned.
Well, I think that's because we know that those spaces are safe for us. We know that if I'm going to the club, if I'm going to the circuit party, this, that, and the other, that I know everybody that's here is gay. I don't have to worry about them judging me for being gay. Now, they can judge me because of my outfit, my shoes, this, and the other, but at least I know that this is a safe space for me as a gay man. And I think ever since, gay men started gathering from, speakeasies back in the 1900s to, even a circuit party today, that there's that safety being in that space. If that's the bathhouse and the YMCA in the 60s and the 70s, those men were gathering to those spaces at those times because they knew, hey, I can have this sexual experience with these men and we're all on the same team. As far as this goes, this is a safe space for me until they started getting raided and things like that. So I think that's part of why those spaces tend to be where we go, is because there's the safety there.
That's actually really good. I didn't even think about that. My answer was going to be, because we've not been exposed to much outside of clubs, bars, and parties within the specific Black gay culture. Like, I think that is the thing that we equate with having fun, is we got to go to a party. We got to go to a bar. We got to go to a club. We've got to be engaging in substances. We got to be around people. We've got to be, because being around people is currency. And I need to go out and spend some of this currency. I need to be around the people. I need to because I'm at work all week, or I'm at home, or I'm doing this. So I need to go and be a part of this. So honestly, I don't know that there have been a lot of instances where, as elder gay Black men are kind of indoctrinating or bringing in or initiating younger gays, that I don't think that they're even exposing them to other things. Like, I could see them saying, hey, let's go to this gay film festival together and go look at let's go to this queer art show. Let's go to this museum that has an exhibit on, gay culture or ballroom culture. Like, I don't know that we're doing a lot of that in the community, or even a gaming conference, gamers, gay men who game, like, I don't know that we're doing any of those things, because they weren't taught to us, which weren't taught to the people before them, which weren't taught to the people before them. So the cycle continues.
See, the only thing with that is that, those things didn't exist before, but now, again, if you know better, you do better. So if you know, hey, there's a Pride event in this city next week, let me see what's on Facebook. Let me go to Meetup. Let me see where the people going to be that isn't the club, that isn't the circuit party, that isn't the park. So I can go do these things. Now, do people go to these seminars and discussion panels? I don't know. I've never been. So full disclosure, I've never been.
I'm telling you, no.
I tend to not go to those
they go to
pride events anyway. But I mean, they can't just be hosting these every year to just empty rooms. And I've seen pictures of people go to these different panels. But I can tell you, if you're in a major city that has a gay population, likely there is some type of poetry reading, some type of panel that you can go meet other gay men. That's not necessarily a club or a bar, but you got to get up and actually do the work. And I guess I'm coming from a person that had to navigate these spaces before the popularity of the internet and geolocation apps, where, you know, now it's very easy. It's lazy. I can go up here and look at the whole panel and the grid of the torsos and go look at this person and that person and see what they're into. Now that's a lot easier than back in the day when you'd be like, oh, I done seen this dude at the club 2 times. I'm gonna go talk to him this 3rd time and see what's going on. You know, now you got to be for those types of things, you got to put in a little bit more physical effort. And a lot of us just don't want to do that. And it may mean that, hey, I got to be outside the house after 10 p.m. or I got to get up and go to this panel at 10:30 in the morning, and maybe people will be there, maybe they won't be. But you can't say that, oh, there's nothing to do, or there's nothing but the bars for me or the clubs for me, if you don't go out and start hitting the pavement and going to experience these events. And I mean,
but how would people know that though? How would people know to even go look for that stuff? Like, because that goes back to, if everybody is doing the same stuff, I'm going to initially think, unless I have a little bit more intelligence quotient and a little bit more emotional quotient, I'm going to go, you know what? I'm sick of doing the same shit. Let me go find something else. Everybody's just going to gravitate to, oh, well, that's what the gays do. We go to the party and the club and the bar and the brunch.
And that's the thing. Like, we have the whole world in our hands. But we never use it for the things that are just the very simple, just, oh, where are there other gay men for me to meet? Like, you can ask Google, you can ask Claude, you can ask Gemini, all these different things, but people don't do that. So
because we're a monolith.
You can't make the people drink the water once they get to the fountain. That's pretty much all there is to it. Like, I just don't, it baffles me. Because every month or every 2 weeks in some of these Facebook groups, people are like, I don't know where to find any friends, blah, 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 this and the other. And there's places to do these things. Now, if y'all don't want to do those things, that's fine, you know, but you can't say that, oh, there's no place for me to go meet anybody else. You know, you're going to have to get up off your introverted butt and actually do these things. And I say that as an introvert myself, is that until I started putting myself out there, doing things outside of my norm, I was never able to build the little circle of friends that I have now. I had to actually put in more effort to that. And, you know, until I started thinking like, okay, well, what are some other things that I can do? As just started talking to people, asking people online, you know, where can I go to meet people physically? You know, if I never did those things, I would probably still be with Darius as my main friend and maybe 1 or 2 other people. You know,
that would be a great thing.
You just have to do some. There's just got to be a little bit more effort that people put in order to build these types of relationships and find these people, because I feel like the people that would be at those panels will probably be a little bit more interesting than the people that are at the club. And there's nothing wrong with going to the club, nothing wrong with going to the park or anything like that. I think those are great things. Like I said at the start of the show, you know, it's fine to go experience these things every now and then or all the time. But, you know, I think there should be some type of balance. And I think, no, I'm not going to be friends with every person that I meet at the poetry reading. I'm not going to be friends with everybody that I meet at the field day. There was a field day here in Atlanta the other week. But you're going to have to start joining those local city-based Facebook groups and meetups to find these different types of events, because things are going on outside or beyond Pride. Like, Pride just nearing to bring a bunch of people together at the same time. But after Pride is over and the temporary residents of your city have left, you know, there's still things for the locals to do. Because usually as a local, I don't deal with the Pride things because, like, we have this stuff all the time. So I don't really need to go see these strangers unless my intention was to let me go party with the people, maybe find somebody to have sex with and, fuck around, and sure, that's part of it. But there's more to prides and the gatherings than just fucking.
There are. What?
Yes, there are.
Wow. I never knew that.
Y'all have already said everything. The only thing I was going to add is because Darius had brought it up earlier about the safety aspect, that's exactly where I was going to head. I don't even like going into like the straight areas here in San Diego because I don't feel like dealing with the straights, them looking and, having questions. And I also do think it's internalized of my own existence that I haven't fully dealt with. So that's part of it. And the other part is, everybody's gay here. It's great. It's fun. But I also am pretty well-rounded because I will go to a house party instead, or just go to hang out at a friend's house. I've met people in the art space because I was in the art space also. So I do feel like a part of it is based on, who you're around, what you're doing at the time, and where's everybody else head at. Like, we don't need to go to the club if we don't have to. So, that's the only thing I would add.
Got you.
But, real quickly, so what's interesting is that I have noticed, at least here in Atlanta, I've seen a lot of same-sex couples in environments that have been mostly straight, that have felt comfortable enough to, engage in a little bit of PDA or like PDA. Even with me and my boyfriend, like there'll be a little bit of a handhold or a rub on the thigh and this, that, and other in public. So, it's possible to have those experiences, but I even before then, I was a little bit more, I'm not really a PDA person, but, I've gotten more comfortable with it as time has gone on. So.
Same. It's taken some time for me because I've been like, yeah, we can kiss. Because it's all about, ooh, give me a kiss, be all over me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this seems like a lot. So last question or last thing as we move into the next segment, I have a game.
Okay.
And
Let's go.
It is, so what we initially talked about, we called it a lock, pencil, drop. And it really is just to talk about our experiences, right? And we're going to talk about some habits, talk about some trends, talk about some relationship patterns, a little nightlife behaviors, and some things that we're going to decide to either keep or we are going to pencil it, which, is like maybe like on some conditional basis, or we're going to drop it all together, which is to let it go. And this can be
so the lock is the keep.
Yes. The lock is the key.
Okay, got you. All right.
And the pencil is the maybe, and then the drop is we're completely letting it go.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
All right. So let's talk about nightlife. Let's start there first.
Okay.
So let's say it's Sunday night or Sunday. We're going to brunch. And then from brunch, at this point, it's about 4 or 5 o'clock. So maybe we're going to happy hour after brunch. And then as we've gone to happy hour, we're then going to the club. Are we keeping our Sunday jam-packed with brunch, happy hour, club? Or what are we doing? Are we locking it? Are we penciling it? Or are we dropping that?
Drop.
Drop what?
Everything after brunch. Because after brunch, if we're at brunch till 4 or 5 o'clock, I'm ready to go home. I'm good. I've seen you enough. Good night. God bless.
I'm going to say pencil because it depends on where I'm at. If I've had a crazy week and I've not had any moment of rest, and by the time we get to Sunday, I'm ready just to throw it all to the wall, then I just might, we can do all night, and I'm definitely working from home on Monday.
Here, I'm definite brunch after 2:30 is not happening. Like by that time I would have eaten my stomach. So I'm the type of person that, if we're going to have brunch, we need to have brunch between the hours of 11 and 1.
And yep, that's right.
That's prime brunch time for me. And then after that, hey, if we want to go out to the park and do a little bit of Sunday fun day, I'm all for that. Now, once we get to like 5 o'clock, I want to go home. I want to be at home at 5 or winding down, because I'm likely working on Monday. And even though I work from home, I just don't want to be out all day and then have to get up and go to work early in the morning or sign into work like the next day. I'm not doing that. Let me have my Sunday at peace so I can reset.
Okay.
All right. Next one is, which is an interesting one, talking stages that last 8 months. But I guess my question is, when we are talking about talking, that just means we're just seeing each other. We're going on dates. There's no fucking happening. We just hanging out every so often for 8 months.
So I had I hosted a episode about the dating stages. And for me, the talking stage, if after 8 months, we're not talking anymore. Like we've moved on to something beyond that. Cause I feel like it doesn't take that long to decide what you're going to do with somebody. Like if you got 90 days at max to figure out if this is a person that I actually want to date and see if there's going to be a relationship with. So
you either shitting or getting off the pot. One of the two.
Yes. So we're going to lock it or drop it at any point. It's going to be within, that first 60 days, really, because I can pretty much tell if I want to even continue talking to you within that 2 months. And I say that speaking of in-person physical, not online. That may be a little bit different. You may be able to give someone a little bit more leeway if we're long distance. But if we are in the same city, we don't have to see each other every weekend, especially like at a city of Atlanta, where Atlanta is an hour and a half from Atlanta. I'm not expecting to see someone that I'm talking to every week. Like we could date or go out on a date every 2 or every 3 weeks just to get to that point. But we're probably talking and texting at least. So we can decide if we're going to lock it a lot earlier than 8 months for me.
So what are you doing? Are you talking 8 months or dropping it?
I'm dropping 8 months.
Okay,
We definitely would not be talking for at 8 months. Like we would have decided on by that time we either dating or we just FWB.
All right, I'm going to say pencil because a lot of my more recent relationships and getting to know people have been long distance. So I am the person that would give a little bit more leeway because we're not going to be able to see each other every weekend, or we may even be able to see each other, once a month kind of situation. So yeah, we need that little gestation period there. So I would pencil that depending, it depends on how well things are going.
Okay. Next one is no fats, no femmes culture. We dropping that.
Drop it.
Down.
What about prioritizing appearance over character?
We're dropping that.
Yeah, drop. Yeah, we're gonna drop that.
I mean, realistically, yes, you do need to have some form of attraction to someone, but I think how you treat the wait staff is going to impress me a whole lot more than you having light green eyes.
Agreed.
Okay.
What about vacation flings? This never happened for me. I was kind of pissed when I tried.
Lock.
Yeah.
I am locking it. I don't mind a vacation fling if I'm not in a relationship or not in a situation. So yes, absolutely lock. Because there are people I won't get to see after that.
Yeah, I'm for that. Like, you're on vacation, enjoy your vacation, because again, you're probably not going to see this person again. So yeah. Live a little.
Exactly. And that's what I tried. It was when my friend was getting married and I wanted to, I was like, you should come, let's go.
Hmm?
And it never went anywhere. Fuck.
It never went. W was like, you should go. And it never went.
It never went. Let's see. Falling for men who only text after midnight.
That's a thing.
Apparently. Thankfully, I've dropped that out of my life, and that never.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. So I guess drop, because I'm not awake after midnight.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you can text me after midnight, but you're not gonna get a response until the next morning.
Yeah, till the next morning. Yeah. So if you're okay with that, then cool.
Yeah. Now on the weekends, if I'm up after midnight, then you may get a response then. But if it's during the week, yeah, we're waiting until I wake up, because I'm guaranteeing you that I'm going to be in D&D. Do not disturb.
People hate that my phone goes to bed before I do. At 9:15, that motherfucker shuts down.
The lights in my house go off at 10.
Y'all had all day to text me, so too bad.
So sad.
All right, the last one. Are we locking, penciling, or dropping thirst traps?
I'm gonna pencil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think all thirst traps have to be naked or nude or nude, naked adjacent. I think you can post a thirst trap where you just look really good. And that is what it is. So yeah, I'm a pencil that one.
I'm going to pencil it too. I'm kind of indifferent towards thirst traps like that, because I don't like contrived thirst traps. So yeah.
Elaborate on that.
It's clear that I'm trying to get someone's attention by, angling this camera where my butt is taking up the 3/4 of the screen, and then my face is in this.
Right. And I'm looking back at it. Exactly. Yeah. I got to look back at it.
Yeah.
To make sure you're looking back at it. Right.
Yeah. So I'll pencil it in. I'll let you have I'll give you the grace of maybe the thirst trap not being, so purposely thirsty.
I love that. Well, thank y'all for entertaining my foolishness.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
I like these types of shenanigans.
Yes, right.
We haven't had a game here in a while.
In a while. Yes. So as we kind of wrap up things, I want us to maybe leave one question for our viewers and or our listeners. So my question to the audience, and this is for engagement, hopefully you all will come into the DMs or come into the once this episode posts, or airs, that you will come in and kind of answer these questions. But my question is, are our interests truly ours, or are they shaped by what gets the most attention in the community? Who else? Who wants to go next?
Jeff, do you want to go next?
I'm going to let you have it.
Okay. My question is, if someone completely stepped outside these norms and the ones that we've talked about throughout this episode, would we embrace them, or will we be side-eyeing them?
Good question.
So that is a good question. I can't think of anything.
You can't think of a question? Okay.
I can't think of one. No, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. No problem. All right. Any last words?
My only last word would be that this was a fantastic conversation. I, again, appreciate y'all for us doing this together. It was fantastic. And I think it gives people something to think about, especially with times that we're in our community, and conversations that should have been had and, consistently should be having. So I appreciate having this conversation with you all, and thank you.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah. So thank you for collaborating with us, and we're collaborating with each other.
Yes, absolutely. So for everybody that's out there listening and watching, at the end of the day, this conversation really isn't about calling people fake or judging how anybody chooses to live. The only thing that this is about is really awareness. Because, yeah, we're not a monolith. You know, that part may be true, but we have to be honest about the fact that there are patterns, that those patterns shape what we see, what we value, and even what we think we want. So if we never question it, we end up living on autopilot, okay, thinking that we're choosing freely when really we're just kind of following a script. So maybe the real work isn't just saying we're not a monolith, but maybe it's making space for people who don't fit the mold without side eye, without exclusion, without making them feel like, again, as I said earlier, they're doing gay wrong. Because real diversity, it just doesn't sound good. It doesn't just sound good, excuse me. It looks different. It feels different. And then sometimes it just kind of makes us uncomfortable. But that discomfort might be the one thing that will set you or us free.
All right. Okay, fam. So that is a wrap for this episode of HellaDrawz. We hope that you felt the love, laughed a little bit, and maybe learned something new.
And remember, the conversation just doesn't stop here. Make sure to follow us individually or on our respective shows' social media.
So let us know your thoughts, share your stories, or just say, well, damn, now I got to go figure out who I actually am.
Or you can say, and that's the real chisme.
All right.
All right. So until then, just be bold, just be beautiful, and most importantly, just be a polylith.
Correct. We will catch y'all next time.
Peace.
Bye.
Make sure you subscribe and share the show because the algorithm only listens when you all make noise.
Follow us on social media, tap in with the community, and keep the conversation going. We look forward to seeing you and hearing from you. Peace.